Dear learners, we have discussed the guidelines for preparing the reports, the long reports. We have even seen the example how the long report works, how the long report is being prepared. Now we'll see the short reports. Now this session will be a little bit shorter because as the name suggests, it's short reports, so we'll be having shorter session. But in this session, I would be just highlighting the aspects which are required for short reports. Some parts are available in the study material. I have discussed some parts in the audios which have been given as the links on the cover page of the course. But there are some additional short reports also which I want to highlight, which are not in the self-learning material. But apart from that, everything, the detailed reports you will find in the learning material. That is why I won't be touching upon that part here. Because that you can read it from the text which is given, because covering the whole text in form of the report in the presentation would be a little difficult, though I have tried in other formats or other modes. I have tried to explain certain concepts to you. So in short reports, we would just try to find out what exactly are the short reports. So in this we have types of short reports which has memorandum form, which has minutes form, which has letter form, and which has activity reports. Now this is very, very important to understand, because it is kind of an internal communication. It is meant for the members, and it is meant for the committee members which are there in the organization. Then there are the letters, there are the activity reports also. So we'll discuss this one by one in brief, so that it doesn't give you a lot of stress what exactly these short reports are. Now coming to the memorandum form. To discuss the memorandum form, this is one of the most widely used form of written communication within the internal community of the organization. You should not confuse yourself with memorandum form with memorandum of association, MOA, or memorandum of agreement. So this is an internal communication, and it is a kind of a short report. Usually it is used for communication between the members of the same organization, and it is interdepartmental and interbranch communication, and it is prepared to file records and references, and it has organizations usually use it in a structured format. So when we talk about the written communication in form of memorandum, for the internal communication or interdepartmental communication, I'll give you an example. Suppose a marketing executive writes to the marketing manager about certain issues related to marketing of that NGOs, and tries to bring the issues and challenges faced by the organization and how it can be improved upon. So that communication is between the executive and the manager within the organization itself, and it is the duty of the manager to mention actually what it is, what kind of problems there are, because the field level employees, they know the issues and challenges better than the top level management. So there must be a certain kind of a communication in this form. That is why we talk about the memorandum form. Now this is just a sample of memorandum form, and it is not a standardized form, but for any organization this form can be used. There are certain organizations which follow their own set of memorandum. You can just Google on the internet, and you'll find lots of templates available regarding the memorandum form. For letter form, we'll be taking one of the templates, and similarly for memorandum form, you can just go through or you can surf the internet, and you will find lot of templates available there. So for example, or for activity purpose, you can use those templates to prepare a memorandum form. That can be an activity for you. So in fact, you can prepare an activity and post it on the page available for you for the discussion forum, and then you can discuss the preparation of memorandum form. That is up to you. So in this case, we have to mention the name of the organization, the place, and then to whom the memorandum form is being addressed, from where the memorandum form is going to whom, the date, particular date on which the memorandum form is being written, and the subject matter of the memorandum form. That has to be mentioned. What is it related to? Suppose I am talking about the marketing activities, it can be request to look into the matter related to marketing activities. That can be the subject. And then there is a body of the text, and then there is the mention of the person who is dealing with that particular activity and who is writing the memorandum form, because the details are to be mentioned, who has written the memorandum form. So that can be covered. Now there are different types of internal memorandum. It can be audit memorandum, it can be inter-office memorandum that I gave you an example. It can be a legal memorandum, it can be a credit memorandum, so it can be anything because it's an internal communication. So memorandum can vary in different aspects. Usually in between the functional areas, or in between the executive and the managers, or the field workers and the managers, this kind of internal communication is done, and that is being done through memorandum. And if a memo is to be issued, that is done through the top authority. Now coming to the minutes form. Now minutes are quite a popular format of report writing. Quite popular minutes are being done like in every organization, whether it is a service organization, whether it is you can say the educational organization, whether it is a profit making organization. Meetings do happen, and when the meetings commence, the minutes are to be made. So there are reports of committees and subcommittees which are generally submitted in the form of minutes, because there are committees who take care of certain issues which are arising in the organization, or to take care of regular activities, and for that the meetings happen, and that meetings, the minutes are based on those meetings. Now it discusses the activities and findings of the meetings based on the agenda, and the proceedings are recorded and communicated to all the members of the committee. In this, one thing is very important, that the draft minutes are to be circulated to the committee members, so that if it is not accurate, the information provided there is not accurate enough, that can be rectified and a final minutes can be communicated. So depending on the objective and the subject matter, the committee sometimes submits the long reports also. Minutes form the part of a long reports also. But even in the long reports, the minutes have to be prepared. Now every organization has a standardized format of writing the minutes. So minutes can be in different forms. They do not follow a certain pattern, because each organization is different and each organization has their own rules and regulations. Usually the minutes have the name of the organization, the date of the minutes, the subject matter, the members present, the opening statements, the agenda items, and then the board text which is to be included in the minutes. We'll see it there. So in minute form, you have to list the names of the members present and not present also, because there are cases where the members may not be present. You have to list all the issues that were discussed based on the agenda items, because before the minutes it is important, or before the meeting commences, it is important to inform the members about the meeting and the agenda items. and then you have to list all the issues that were discussed based on the agenda items. You have to note all the material that has been provided, that is a supplementary material which has been provided and distributed to be taken along with a copy of the same for proof and reference. You have to note down the accurate information, the facts and figures should be in place. Final decision and resolution of the majority has to be noted, and you have to identify the topics that need attention, that has to be highlighted, and a follow-up section depicting future course of action is also to be mentioned in the minutes form. Now we will discuss the letter form. This is another form of a short report. Now you all know that I don't know how many of you know what kind of physical letters they used to be there. Before emails came, before the technology came, there were kind of letters which were a form of communication between the family members, between the friends, between the official authorities also. So officially the letter form has been in prevalence since long, but now it is a form of an internal communication, and the letter form is definitely similar to the letter which we write, normal letter, and it includes all the features of a letter like the address of the sender, the address of the institution, the subject matter, the salutations. Salutations means like dear sir, dear madam, hello friends, something like that. Then you have greetings, then you have the body of the letter, and of course at the end you have the signature of the letter. So when we talk about the NGOs or the not-for-profit organizations, the letters happen to be in different forms. They can be letters related to the sponsorship letters. Then you have the letters communicating the activity of the organization or publicizing letters. So letters can be in various forms. I'll just give you an example, though it may not be visible, but still you see there are a lot of templates available as the templates for the memorandum form. There are templates available for the letters also. So in letter form what happens is like you have to write a particular form of letter with a particular subject. Now this is just an idea, a template given where a letter has been framed to ask for the funding. So it is, you just see, I have mentioned the source also. You can go to the sample templates and you'll find n number of letters related to NGOs and how they write these letters to those NGOs, what kind of letters there are. So this is very important to understand that letter also form the short reports. Now coming to the other aspect, which is the activity reports. Activity reports, these are in different forms. Activities can be in the form of events, it can be in the form of seminars, it can be in the form of the workshops, it can be in the form of interactive activities within the stakeholders or children of the NGO, if it is an NGO catering to the needs of children, etc. So in activity reports, you have several activities which form a part of the project. Now suppose the activity is in the form of a training. Now in that case, you need to mention all the details related to the training aspect. Training can be for 1 day, training can be for 2 days, training can be for 3 days, or training can be for a week. It depends. If a training is for the employees, then that kind of activity has to be mentioned. If the training is meant for for the stakeholders of the organization, for the volunteers, then the concept or the content of that training would be different. Similarly is for the workshops, similarly is for the campaigns, similarly is for the celebration, etc. But everything should have a detailed version of the activities which are going there, detailed version of the trainings which are going there, detailed versions of the workshops which are happening, detailed versions of the campaigns they are happening. So every detail should go into the activity report, but it should be small, or it should be short in nature. So activity reports are a part of the monthly and quarterly reports. They go inside those monthly and quarterly reports, and they provide a gist of the activities undertaken during that particular activity. Now let us see how we write an activity report. Again, in activity report, the title pages should be there, which should outline the name of the activity. The title of the project is there, date and location of the activity is there, name of the implementation and supporting agency is there, photograph of the activity is there, overview of the project is there, justification of the activity related to the objectives of the project is there, and it should have a very simple and concise language. That is very important to understand. Now we see the last part of the activity report, which shows that it is the brief description of the activity from start to end. And for training and workshop sessions, it should have the names of the resource persons and participants. Activity photographs are a must for the activity report. Now in subsequent slides, I would be showing you some kind of activity photographs and some kind of activity reports, some kind of training and workshop sessions which have been framed. So some templates or some sessions, some samples which we will be seeing it, and then you can try to relate to those samples. Try to build an activity on your own. It can be in any form. You can even make a promo of that NGO also. So that we will be showing you, and you just go through those activities and then you see how you can make a short report. So you have number of activities in this session which you can build upon on your own, because this is a practical session in a way. So since I cannot give you in the face-to-face mode, so it is important that you plan the activity report on your own so that you know how the activity report can be built. Thank you so much.